All right, it's about 1:30 in the morning, Wednesday. Let's see. I have to write things down, otherwise I don't know what day or anything it is. June 10th. I have my little notebook ready for tomorrow. I set that up the night before. I was gonna make this longer, but I have a lot of visitors this week, so as I was laying down, my mind started going. So I know when my mind goes, wake up, do the video of what I was going to talk about, and then it'll be easier to go back to sleep. I have my little heating pad here. I also have one behind my back. I sleep with those because it makes things more comfortable. And I got my Peep, literally, by my side here. My husband kind of bought it as a joke, kind of, because I like to eat Peeps around Easter, and I couldn't really eat them this Easter, so he still got me a Peep. But what I find is I put a pillow between my legs and between my arms, and it kind of keeps my spine more aligned and comfortable throughout the night. So it's a very practical thing. Like I said, I was going to make this a little bit longer because some of the reasons why I make this is because I want to teach people what they can do if they're in my situation, or if they're a caregiver in the future for someone like me. Hopefully I'll be able to add a few of those tips in this video, or remember them for next week. So I think what I'm going to do is do like some highs and lows over the past week. Every week there is somewhat of a decline and things that I need to put into place to help with that decline. One of the things that my husband and I have done is he will set up the bathroom for me now before I do my medical things. We have two kind of containers under the sink. One of them holds all the cleaning supplies. The other one holds all my medical supplies, and it's kind of heavy for me to lift. So he'll take my shower chair and he'll put those supplies out for me and put anything heavy in the bathroom. So that's actually helped a lot. Another decline is my kidneys have been kind of hurting. Some days more than others. If you look at what organs start to shut down, digestive is number one, which we know I have been fighting for quite a while. And I'm still fighting. That's still my biggest battle. But I am using a lot of tools and strategies, and I think I'm making a little bit of headway on that. So cross your fingers. Yeah, so sometimes there's pain in my kidneys. The positives are that I don't really use a lot of drugs. I weaned myself off the fentanyl. I said last week that was kind of hard. So now I just do morphine when I need it. A lot of times, one thing that's different is in the past I used to feel better after I did my medical things, which is going to the bathroom with the use of an enema. But now it's almost the opposite. Now it's almost like I feel worse after doing my medical things, like my kidneys start hurting for some reason, which has never happened before. So then I'll start putting some more nutrition back in my body and using morphine and heating pads. So there's that. Some highlights is that, I still am able to get up and move on my own. I'm not totally bedridden or chair ridden yet. I would say today I have my dad's here visiting, and I was able to go outside and show him my garden in the backyard that I made last summer. And I would say for standing, I can probably only consistently stand for like 10 minutes or so. And then if there's a combination of like standing and sitting and standing and sitting, I can last a little bit longer. Sitting is obviously easier for me now. Another highlight is I was able to cook a meal with my son today, which I have, Tuesday. You'll see this Wednesday, which I haven't been able to do for a very long time. But again, he kind of helped out, and I was sitting and standing and sitting and standing. And I did find that was about my limit of sitting and standing, making a meal. So, I don't know, 30 minutes or so, maybe 45 of sitting and standing. That's kind of how long I'm able to do that. And then right after we ate, and I was actually awake a lot today, Tuesday. What would that be, the 9th? Yeah, Tuesday, June 9th. Which I haven't done a lot, but as soon as we ate, I was down from like 7 p.m. until 11:30 p.m. I woke up and I thought I could go back to sleep right away, but then I did my gratitudes for the day, and then I started thinking about, my weekly update, and here we are recording a video. So that hopefully those thoughts can get out of my mind and I can go back to sleep. So another good thing is that everyone in my house seems to be at acceptance. Even my 16-year-old, we've been having some really good, honest conversations. And I think through our conversations, some of the things that I can tell people of what they can do or how to get through this is, it's okay to be happy. It is a choice if you're going to hang on to sorrow or if you're going to hang on to the good things in life, and the percentage to which you're going to do that. My son admitted, I realized that on one hand, my life is pretty good and I'm not really in a bad situation, even though most people would say that I am. And then there's other times he thinks he's in a bad situation. And I said both can be true at the same time. I think the difference, I was thinking about this, is anticipatory grief versus grief. Preparing when you know someone's gonna die, we've had 6 months, versus somebody dies suddenly and you didn't know it was gonna happen. So we've had 6 months to kind of process and reach that acceptance, where if somebody dies suddenly, they don't have that time. So I think it's been a blessing for my family. The advice that I give to my children and to other people, and I think I've said this before, is when something bad is going to happen, you can prepare for it, which doesn't make it easy, but it makes it easier. So like for me, gathering my tools, like my heating pads, my medicine, my meditation music, the stories that I listen to online. I even talked to my son about, if you're not in denial about something, distractions are great. I do mine through TV. He does his through work and working out and playing the guitar. The other thing is to try to keep things as status quo as possible. I think I said the first time I didn't understand why people were keeping things more status quo was when I was teaching during 9/11, and I was wondering why we're just going about our day. And then there was Columbine and all kinds of stuff. And I do find during times of, high emotional stress, actually keeping things as calm and normal and status quo as possible is one of the best things you can do. But at the same time, this is what I told him and what I tell myself and others. You are going to hit the waves. The waves are going to hit. There'll be some sort of trigger. And it will probably come unexpectedly. Go through the waves. Don't try to fight them. Don't try to ignore them. Because I can't remember what the chemical is called. I want to say neutrinos, but that doesn't sound right. There is a chemical that is built up in our body when we experience pain, whether it's physical or emotional, and it stays in there, and crying is one way that it physically releases those chemicals from your body. And I used to try to hold back the waves, but I learned not to do that anymore. So feel the waves, and also open communication is another thing that we talked about. Telling people why you're having the wave, or if you got upset about something, like my son and I talked about. Sometimes we get upset about people having almost too much hope for us and pushing aside reality. The reality is, I will pass. And some people still talk about the miracle of God and something will happen and you will live, and they're totally ignoring reality. And I'll admit, when I was younger, I had one foot in fantasy and magic and manifestation all the time. But as I got older, it all became about balance. I still have one foot in magic and reality and spirituality. I still think there's a purpose and a reason for this, even if I can't see it from my limited human brain. But it is going to happen. And both he and I have gotten kind of mad at some people who won't listen to our reality. But then the good thing is, if it's somebody close to you, you can have that open communication. And I was so proud that he did that with the person he got kind of frustrated with, and they were able to fix it. So when the waves come, let them come, and then if you need to, explain and fix the communication later. So some highs are I'm having visitors, and I am finding when I have visitors, a lot of times I can kind of push myself and be there for them. Sometimes I pay the price and I end up crashing, generally right after they leave, sometimes while they're here. Sometimes it might be the next day. I have a lot of high hopes for the next couple days. We'll see if I'm able to meet them or not. I know that I'm going to have my wishes of things that I want to do over the next couple days. But I also have to listen to my body, and that's a fine line. So, the negatives or the things that are going downhill is I am requiring more assistance. The good news is I'm still technically able to care for my own personal needs, like going to the bathroom and showering, but I do need help with everything else. My laundry, help setting up my bed, setting things up for me that I couldn't set up before, those kinds of things. I don't cook anymore, all of those things. My kidneys hurt, so that's a new symptom. But the positives is we're all actually in a pretty good state mentally and emotionally here. Yes, we do experience our waves once in a while. For me, a lot of times it's when I realize the lasts might happen. But sometimes I found the last 2 times or so, I didn't wave about it. I was just happy that I had what I call bonus time that I didn't think I was gonna have. So that's where we are here. That's where I am. Every day looks different. My schedule's totally flopped from waking up at 3 and 4 in the morning to I still wake up at 3, 4 in the morning, but that's just to remedicate myself, and then I go back to sleep till like 8, 9, 10, 11. Depends on the day, depends if I'm gonna have visitors or not. And then I do my medical things, and then I'm generally kind of tired and try to put nutrition and medication back in my body. I might go back down for a nap, I might not. I am generally up now, like around 10 to midnight. Sometimes 2 in the morning if I'm talking with my son. But that's the nice thing, I guess, about being on hospice. It doesn't matter. Schedule can look however I need and want. Anyway, I still want to thank everybody for all of your well wishes and comments. I do try to check them at least once a day and try to respond, but it just depends on if I have visitors, if I'm tired, if I can get back to you or not, but I will try. Again, thank you for all your thoughts and your well wishes, and I will see you next week.